Apoliticism is often touted as this refuge from the divisive and tumultuous nature that is modern politics, especially so as imposed by Western categorizations of ideology. The idea is that one can simply opt out of these ideological battles and simply remain happy and peaceful and neutral. But is that truly possible? And that is what I want to talk about today. Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Catherine. If you don't know me, from wherever it is on the internet that you happen to drop in from, I'm so grateful and so happy that you could make it here or make it back. I'm not going to talk for a long time. After all, I'm always more interested in what perspectives divergent to mine happen to offer to the conversation, even if it means you have to disagree with me. Either way, I believe apoliticism might be one of the most comforting, the most beautiful, and the most effective of lies. Weapons of faux impartiality, actually, to get people to sympathize better to your perspective. And in this video, I am going to talk about why. So please sit down, get comfortable, and let's begin. There is some political undercurrent to everything we consume, and not just because people can't help but preach, people can't help but make themselves heroes in reconciling people to the perspective that has, brought themselves the most peace. But because I believe as human beings in pursuit of anything in this life, it is very difficult to invest in something that has too little weight to what you inherently value. It is almost instinctual, to want what is valuable to you, especially if it has been enlightening in some way to affect the same revelation, the same epiphany on other people. The battle of ideas lies in this very principle. Your coming to revelation in the form of some opinion is subjective. But in coming to various opinions, in defaulting to various ideas, you develop biases, and those biases inform your moral structure, your moral identity. It is a subjective moral code that, builds from within, and because, we're human beings and we can't keep ourselves to ourselves, spills out into the plane around us. You cannot be, and some of you may, may disagree with me on this, but you cannot be apolitical for as long as you believe in something. To be able to sympathize with the diversity of antagonist perspectives to your own isn't apoliticism, it's just an entertainment of nuance. It's just, quite frankly, responsible journalism. You still hold your biases. After all, it's not like you've changed your mind, it's just that you're entertaining other minds, which you should do. To be curious about ideas antagonistic to your own, to invite them that mental space of consideration is not apoliticism. It is just the formal part of that first, sentence without everything else but it's just you being curious. That's it. Full stop. At the end of that, it's just you being curious. It is not particularly complicated, it is not special, but it is rare, which is why I believe it is so valued in the more, inflammatory disagreements of our time, which apparently at the moment happens to be whether a person who never identified as a trad wife can be quote unquote oppressed as a trad wife, or as another example, to get you guys really mad, whether the Olympic Games can be inclusive without being insulting to other systems of belief. What a time indeed to be alive. We're really, I think we're really living in some very interesting times. But anyway, for as long as you are a human being who thinks, assumed is that there is some end to that stream of thought, and that end is defined by your opinion. But do you see what I did there though? Speaking particularly about the ballerina farm article and the Olympic Games, I did exactly what the journalist did. I didn't say explicitly, point blank period, what I believed about either of those topics. But from the way I phrased and positioned those topics in relationship to controversy, right down to the order of the words I chose in that sentence, you know exactly where I stand. I'm not so naive to believe or even to tell you that I am objective or apolitical in any of the topics I choose to talk about on this channel, which is why I've never started off a video saying this is a completely objective perspective. I'm presenting the following information with, apolitical research and you can trust what I said. No, I would never started off a video like that because it's simply not true. Even if in my heart of hearts, I believe myself to be apolitical and objective, which obviously I do because I think I'm right. In my humble opinion, I believe that for as long as the world is thinking, for as long as diverse conclusions exist, every default will find itself burdened to some cluster of similar conclusions and antagonistic to another cluster of conclusions. A cluster is an ideology, it is a system of similar feelings, and no, for your comfort and information, we cannot escape them. You should not be able to. Otherwise, sir or madam or whatever it is, however it is you happen to identify, I regret to inform you, but you might be in a cult. Thank you so much for listening to me today. I will see you next time, whenever next time happens to be. But obviously, I'm just more interested in what other people have to say about this idea of apoliticism, especially because of how, the world is what's going on in the world right now. Things are very inflammatory. Anyway, please let me know what you think. I will be reading probably every single comment. But like I said in the beginning, I'm so grateful to have had you here, even if it means, you don't have anything to say, just listening to me. Thank you very much. I will hopefully see you next time, whenever next time happens to you. So you take care of yourself, and goodbye.